this Sunday. Every Sunday, side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here, relevant news, biased opinions, and outright bullshit regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gas, mechanical trickery never before revealed over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrill to the explosive tension as Chris and Ray cuss each other down the track and barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands for the devil. All that and much more this Sunday at high noon on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and live feed, Chris Switzer and Ray Carino. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free. Every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Long Island Expressway to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the sign saying no parking on the expressway and no express service on the parkway. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass. Sunday!
Yeah. Yeah, you know.
It sounds like too much Taco Bell. That's what that sounds
Rod. That's Night Rod.
That's what they used to call you, didn't they?
Night Rod. Shut down Douglas.
Or they called you Night Ray.
Yeah. So you've tuned into the obscure music hour here. And
Yes.
on
Yes.
Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive talk show with your hosts, Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. And I brought it to show you.
Oh, what?
This is the album
Ooh,
we were listening
Hot
to at
Rod Rally. Wow. I could, you know what? Holding up that album on the camera that you'll be able to see when you go to YouTube later when the show is posted. You know what's so funny? I could smell that album.
Oh, yeah.
You smell it. I know what that album smells
Doesn't
like.
even have a
I can
seam. It's
smell the
totally
mustiness.
scratched. But I even signed it. You know, I used to put my name on my albums.
Wow.
When I bought.
Why did you put your? Well, you had brothers and sisters, so
Well,
I'm sure you had to
no.
put your name on everything.
Yeah, no. What was? I don't see the year here. It was from the 70s. But
Uh-huh.
so when you get stuff like this,
And you changed your name to Rod Guarino. That was very nice.
I should. You know, and that's it's just like watching. Always reminded me of watching late night not Hot Rod Valley. What do you call it? Hot Rods to Hell. You know, that was the same kind of music, the exact music that was in that movie. So yeah, you can check that out later on. I'll put it up on social media. It'll go on.
It's funny.
Yeah, Motormouth Radio on X, and of course, _Motormouth Radio on Instagram, Motormouth Radio on Facebook, and like Chris said, this show will be up on YouTube. Our channel is Real. Yeah, what the heck is it?
Real _
Motormouth Video.
No.
Underscore. Yeah. Say it. Go on. You'd say.
Real _ Motormouth Radio on Instagram.
But it's YouTube.
It's Motormouth Video.
Right.
It's is it Real _
Actually, Real
Motormouth
Motormouth Video. Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah, it's almost like the point where, you know, when you had to memorize everybody's phone number,
Yeah.
because obviously we didn't have cell phones and you didn't have the one-touch dialing, and now because I have everything literally all set up on my computer, all I have to do is just click on it. I don't remember where anything is. I know where it is on my computer. If you look at my computer screen, you'll be able to find it in one touch.
That happened to me recently. One of our good friend Kenny Hammer.
Yeah.
I sent him a birthday greeting a month ago and didn't hear back from him. I texted him and sent him another Thanksgiving, didn't hear back from him. So he sent me an email and I said, "Hey, Kenny, you get any of the messages I sent you?" He goes, "No, I don't think so." And I said, "Wait a minute." And I went to my phone, and you know, you save things in the phone. You can save a number as a mobile or a work or a home number, but sometimes I've had issues where the phone either integrated or upgraded, you know, contacts or whatever, and things kind of get messed up. And I'm looking at his numbers, and it was like the same, like the number was in there twice, both of them. And I said, I've got a feeling I must have texted his home phone because that's the one that came up first. So I asked him to verify the numbers for me again, and of course, that's exactly what I did. It was
You did.
yeah. So now I went back in the phone. I deleted the other two numbers, and I designated one, mobile and one home, and I shouldn't have that problem again. But there's other people in there that are probably just that are messed up as well.
Oh yeah. No,
Not
it's
the people, just the numbers.
516-572-7440. That's the number that you should remember and
Yeah.
use your finger. And if you feel like using your thumb, 203-670-4127. You can get right here in Nutmeg Central here at Motormouth Radio CT. And I'll be able to read it and weep.
Yeah. So it's December. We're in a new month. Here we go again.
I'm not even done with 2024 yet. It's
I
like
know.
summer was a blip and it was last week.
Yeah.
I woke up to 25 degrees up here. 25 degrees, Ray.
Wow.
What kind of donkey dust is that?
I will tell you this. I'm making a switch over finally for the season.
You're wearing long johns.
No, not that switch.
You're taking off your steel tip sandals.
Steel tip work sandals, right? Motormouth Radio approved. No, I actually brought the Fiat back to the storage garage yesterday and took the Mazda out.
Oh, okay.
And I said to myself, I've done this for years. You put the car in the garage, you take the other one, and I always forget, when did I leave that car there?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So what I did is now in the Fiat.
You have to eat more oatmeal. You gotta up that memory a bit.
Well, what happened is the number of years I would take the Fiat out. I had to get it out in what years? Let's see. I guess maybe it's June that the inspection is up. So some years I would get it out that month, get it inspected, and maybe put it back. It could be rainy or whatever, and I'd switch cars. And then, so for past few years, the car didn't get a lot of use. And I said, well, that's going to change. So this year, I looked and I took it out in May. And I've had it out from May till now, December. So I had it like 7 months.
You had the little Mazda in the garage that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
I drove the Fiat like a daily driver.
Holy smokes.
Right.
That's amazing.
So this year really was the pinnacle of use for that car, which is good because I enjoyed using it. Sure. I got to say, sometimes getting in and out of it was a little bit, it was a little bit of a problem. But I did enjoy driving it. So now I have the Mazda back out, and we'll put that through the winter paces.
Right.
So that was my switch over.
And I tell you, that is become a concern now that we're getting on in years, is getting in and out of a vehicle. Now it's any vehicle without making a noise. It used to be getting in and out of my TR6 without making a noise. The other cars I would hop right in, hop right out, but the TR6, because it was lower and smaller, it was always it took a little bit of calisthenics to get in and out of the car. Now it's like, even my Explorer, getting in it, I'm making a noise.
The FJ is the easiest. I mean, I do have to climb into it, but I did put steps on the thing. I put the what do they call it? The side steps. That
you got a little booster seat in there too, right?
No, I didn't have a booster seat, but now I can stand on that rail and grab the grab bar and just hoist myself up, and it's real easy. There's plenty of room. It's like driving the Impala. I can wear my wide shoes in that car because the pedals aren't so close together. So certain cars are a lot easier than others to get in and out of, and
it's nice. You jump in like Batman. Very cool.
Yeah, and you can get in and out easy. Right. Very, very true. So,
meanwhile, I'm falling out of the car. Open it. I take the door, like you open up the door and like hold on to the door so it takes you out of the car.
Swing out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Use the inertia of the opening door to get your body out of the seat.
No, we do change. So, before we get too deep into swinging in and out of cars, I want to give you a little upgrade on what was going on in the shop this week. Not much, because it was, holiday week, and I wasn't there a lot because, if there's nothing to do, don't go and just hang out.
And you have an upgrade and I have a breakdown, and we'll get to that later, but go right ahead.
Good. Yeah, the Mustang, you had asked about this. We got the steering box and column, and that was all done a week ago.
Yeah. I was looking at your rag joint too.
Well, right. We got stuck at the fact of hooking up the hydraulic hose. We were ready to drive this car last week.
Right. Yes.
But the power steering pump in this car is a dinosaur. It's a cast iron pump with it looks like it's out of the 20s.
Steam powered.
and that's what it looks like. And it has a fitting that faced the fender where we needed a fitting in the back. So the car owner said, okay, I'll buy the new pump that's made by Borgeson, and everything will fit. So we did put that in the other day.
And you didn't have to modify any brackets or anything
No,
like
it
that.
came with its own bracket.
Oh, even better.
What I did do is I took the factory AC compressor off. That thing's a mother hunking.
Yeah.
Took that off and said,
Those
now I
old
can
jobs.
see everything.
Right.
Because where the power steering would go shares the bracket with the AC, and then you're under the AC compressor, and it's like a Chrysler compressor. It's a big square affair.
It's actually on a shelf. Do you notice that it sits on looks like a shelf?
Yes, correct.
So goofy and big.
And that
Yeah.
shelf is cast iron.
Oh,
So
wow.
I took probably 60 pounds out of the car by taking the compressor and the shelf and the other bracket and the support rod off, out.
Boy.
So the car handled better. So we got the pump in and got the fitting to line up, got the hose on, beautiful, put the fluid in. And then, of course, we didn't have a belt.
I was going to ask you what went on with the belt, because I'm sure the pulleys weren't the same size.
No,
and
well,
the pump wasn't sitting in the same space.
the pump is now further out toward the fender. And the belt that we had for the factory system was way too small. So I had a couple of belts in the shop that I just tried, and one was way too long, one was too short.
You can use the pantyhose trick, huh?
No. We waited till over the holiday. I went to the store. I went to Colvin, and because one of the guys there showed me years ago how you can size the belts, and I didn't remember. So let me show you.
Okay. And also you have to now, because someone is asking, what's the pantyhose trick? So
Yeah, well, that's where you take a pair of legs pantyhose and wrap them around the pulleys and tie it, and it could actually get you home in a pinch. I did it. I did it once on my Audi.
You're the only one, I think, because I've never heard of such a thing. That's why I brought it up.
I don't think it would have been a good long-term fix, but it did get me out of harm's way. So I explained what I did is I took a piece of cord and I wrapped it around the pulleys. I brought the power steering pump up so the adjustment was at the smaller side, and just made it end to end. And then when I opened it up, I could measure. It was 47 inches.
Oh, okay.
So I went to Colvin, and what the guy showed me is like, he says, here, take this. Here's one belt.
Right.
So if you
The
look,
Gates XL 7465.
so what that means is the 7 designates the pitch of the V of the belt.
Oh, the number actually, the digits actually have a meaning.
Yeah.
Okay.
465. It's 46.5 inches long.
Oh, wow.
And then I took one of these, 47.5 inches long.
7475. Yeah.
And neither one worked. I've always found now I have to remember that even though I measured 47, I was at the very bottom of the pulley, where the belt actually doesn't touch, because you put cord in there, it goes right to the bottom of the V, right?
Sure.
Whereas the belt really rides on the sides.
Right. It shouldn't touch bottom, but it should be close. You don't want the belt sitting above the pulley.
Well, it won't, because if you look at the bottom of the belt, it's square. And the bottom of the pulley is a V. So a square can't go into a V. It can't do it. So I have to remember, always go larger by an inch or two. So the 47 and
that's always a good rule of thumb.
the 47 and
not only your thumb.
My measurement was 47. 47.5 was too small. I mean, I got the belt around the power steering pulley, but just couldn't get it on the bottom quarter. So I think I need like another inch. I need probably a 48 or 48.5. That'll be it.
Thickens.
But that's how you can size those belts.
That's cool.
And someone told me that years ago, and I didn't remember. So now one of the guys there refreshed my memory, and now it's just good to know, because I went through this with my Pontiac recently, where I switched over to a smaller water pump pulley, and I had to change belts. And
just to let you know that the texts are on fire. Yeah. Jim brought up. He says he doesn't think they make legs anymore, so you can't buy them.
Oh, that's a problem.
That's yeah.
There's got to be some kind of pantyhose, CVS brand pantyhose you could buy.
Jim says, hold on one second. There was one more coming in. Let me get to it. Matco Man Brian. I had to school a counter person one time because I needed a belt that was 47.5 inches, but all he had was a 47.3. And
Ah,
we had to explain what the numbers meant to the counter guy.
there you go. Well, I'll tell you what. We have an account with AutoZone, and I went there first. And I
Mhm.
know the guy at the commercial account. He's a nice guy. And I said, this is what I had to do, size the belt. And he says, oh, you have to go in the back and look at yourself. So I did. I went in the back. And then the problem was, he gave me the belt sizing thing, but it was of absolutely no help whatsoever because it was all we have a caller.
Oh, great.
Let's go to the phones and the fun and say hi, caller. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
Gentlemen,
Yeah, Bob.
Robert.
I am no help at all either. Also,
Good.
Nice.
okay,
Join the crowd.
at all.
Okay.
All right. Following the lead of my Connecticut friend.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
All right. Well,
Happy
you, Bob.
Thanksgiving.
yeah.
So my portable air pump. It's Air Moto. Air MOTO.
Okay.
Because you were talking about it last week. What we were using for the air pump for the smaller units with the lithium battery.
Right. Right.
And it works fine because obviously we lost some pressure this week. Got a
Yeah.
digital read. It's got a lamp on it, and what's nice about it is the hose backs into it. It comes out of a sleeve like a male female. It goes right back into the unit itself, so you'll never lose it.
I'm glad you said that, Bob, because that was a topic I wanted to bring up. Now that I switched a couple cars in my fleet, I put the Fiat back in the garage and took my Mazda out. I did air up the Fiat tires, and I aired them up like 5 pounds over. Because the rule is, as we know, I've said this for years, so bear with me. For every 10-degree rise in temperature, you gain 1 psi, and for every 10-degree drop, you lose 1 psi. So I would bet that any car we walk up to on the road, unless it has nitrogen in it, is going to have the incorrect tire pressure. They always do. So
Sure.
you're doing the right thing, Bob. You're on the right track. So, and the Mazda, I had to air up because when I had parked it there in May, that car was down. Those tires were like in the 24, 25 psi range. So I brought my Milwaukee battery air compressor with me and aired them up. So yeah, there's a slew of them on the market. Some I'm sure are a lot better than others. I haven't used all of them. I would tend to get one that's a little on the bigger side as opposed, but I did just see one that's like a pack of cigarettes and they say this thing will really perform well. I don't see how, but I'd have to see it to believe it. But
So we were given 3 of them for the household. Okay.
okay.
And then I went to the website, and then I used it. So it's Air Moto. The website's pretty good. It was worth $100. Absolutely worth $100. No question about it.
Right. I'll tell you what else is worth its weight in gold. I had gone to get the Mazda, so I brought a couple things with me, some tools and some stuff just in case. I had to put a battery in the car, and then I went to the shop, and I'll tell you, and I had to move a car out of the shop, and it was dead. So I was like, all right. So I go, we keep a jump pack on charge all the time. And of course, I walked over there, and as I was walking past, I noticed like it wasn't plugged in. And I said, gee, what are the chances of me needing that today? I shouldn't need it. Well, of course, the car that I had to move out of the shop was dead, and that was dead. So I was like, so
There you go.
I mean, I could put the battery charger on it, put it on boost, but I brought with me my lithium battery jump pack. And I do have 2 of them. I brought it in case I needed it for the Mazda, which I didn't. And I used it on this Subaru. And I tell you, with a stone dead battery, you put this thing on, you hit the boost button, and boom, that car starts. So those little things are an absolute wonder. The second one I bought was from Harbor Freight. I bought a Viking because it was on sale. It's a little fatter, but it's about the same size overall. It's like a brick. And another one that's just a fantastic tool to have, and they give you all the adapters. You can do all cell phones and computers and all sorts of other digital.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, well worth.
That is impressive. That's very impressive.
So it's not a plug for Harbor Freight, and certainly not a call to action. But this weekend they're having their Black Friday sales. Now that isn't on the Black. I was there. Kevin and I went Friday to do some shopping, but that isn't on the Black Friday sale. But when they do run a sale on those things, it's well worth. I got one for my daughter, to have, just for things. So yeah, that's the time to shop for stuff like that. When you get now, of course, Amazon has sales all over the place. So,
did you guys have a good Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Quiet, just the way I like it.
We blew down to the Eastern Shore of Maryland.
Oh, good.
And had a fantastic time. And I'm going to leave you on this note. The traffic was the least amount of traffic going and the least amount of traffic coming home. Go figure.
Man, you could have gone another 45 minutes inland and seen Matco Man Brian.
Yeah, we're outside of Easton, not too far out of Easton.
Wouldn't have he been surprised?
You guys have a great weekend.
Thanks,
and always a pleasure.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. You too.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, just a quick note. Joe the Undertaker texted us at 203-670-4127. That man knows how to use his thumbs.
Yes.
He actually asked the question, won't the tires warm up as you drive?
Sure they do.
And
That's
would
why
that affect the pressure?
Yes, it will. That's why you check the pressure when they're cold. and
Yes, I think Joe is trying to figure out how not to put air in the tires.
Right. Now, that's something that I went through with the motorcycles, where we were trying to find the optimum temperature, because we knew if you started at, say, 32 pounds, and then whatever it is, car, motorcycle, I don't care what whatever has a tire on it, the air is going to heat up. And you would stop and check your pressure, and you could be at 34 or 35, and it's going to go down again. So you're never going to have the optimum pressure all the time. But that's not, tires are designed for a wide range of pressures, so you're going to be okay. So what we did is we used to check the temperature and see when it kind of stabilized. So every time you stop, you'd be checking temperature. That's a little off. I'm not suggesting anybody go do that. All I'm saying is
you do that.
No, I used to. I did on the motorcycle. Yeah. All I'm saying is now, like in this weather, when the weather temperature drops, now if you have an inflator that you can use, you just go out to your car, you plug it in. And the way most of them work is you set your temperature, the pressure you want to have the tires inflated to. So you set it to 35, 30, whatever it is. Plug the thing, put the hose on the tire, and then the gauge will read what the pressure in the tire is. So it could say 24.5. Okay, you press the start button, and the compressor starts running. And when it gets up to your set point, at that case, they say 35, it shuts off. You take the hose off, put the cap on, go to the next tire, and that's all you got to do. So
that's cool.
In my case, once I did one car, then I'd go do 2, 3, 4 cars. I'm like, whatever. But regardless.
Never do one car. I'll fire up the compressor in the garage. I run out with the hose, and I've got all the caps off. It's like Junior Johnson would be proud. A NASCAR. I'm filling tires, checking pressure, filling tires, checking pressure. Two-handed chaotic mess.
But I will say, between the battery charger, between the portable the portable jump pack and the air compressor, those are two tools that any homeowner who is going to touch their car should definitely have. And even the jump pack, I didn't get it for my daughter for her car. She was doing craft fairs at the time. She'd be out on the street with a table, vending, selling, and she had a device she put on her phone where she could take a credit card payment.
Okay.
So now she was using her cell phone, and one particular show she found, wow, my phone's getting low and I can't go charge it. There's no outlets here on the street, and I can't go over to my car. I said, you know what? I know what I'm buying you for Christmas. I'm getting you a jump pack, and now that can power up the phone. So you can use it for many, many different things. So it's very good, but you got to keep it charged. So I suggest every 4 to 6 months, just take it out of the case, plug it in, let it sit and charge up again, and then put it away. Because the worst thing is to have it needed, and then you find out the thing is discharged.
I do have a jump pack just for the phone. It doesn't do anything else. It just charges your phone or any sort of device, any sort of similar device. I literally leave the cord hanging. So it's just a simple plug it in, put it aside. And there's a space on the nightstand for it as well. So it's plugged, done. because if I have to start looking for the cord, looking for the outlet, the receptacle for the outlet, looking for all those things, I'll be like, oh, I'll do it later.
I had two of those.
And later never
Kind of
comes.
like a lipstick case, kind of like it was like a, rectangular, small.
You keep it next to your pantyhose. I get it.
Yeah, but and you know what? I had given it to, I think, my younger daughter when she would go out into the city or whatever, and then to a concert. And I say, here, take one of these with you. Now you have, like, if your phone goes, well, at least you have power. So I never did get those back. So I guess she has it. I hope she's having a good time with them.
Threw it out because it didn't have lipstick in it. I was like, this is broken. Throw it out.
Right. Right. Well, anyway, so that was the nice little surprise of the day, having the jump pack with me when I had to move the car out of the shop because
That's great.
everything else was dead. So
Because what a pain in the butt. You'd have to move a car in to the shop and jump it with that car with a set of standard jumper cables. I was thinking about that, like how you were going to, if you didn't have the if you didn't have the jump pack handy, how would you have gotten that car out of there?
like I said, I would have grabbed the battery charger and
Mhm.
put the charger on boost, and
Right.
then that presumably should start the car as well. So
Because I've been in driveways where the car's dead all the way down by the garage, and the car that's living is on the other side. So you're hooking jumper cables to jumper cables to get like a 20-foot run.
well, luckily I was in a fully equipped shop that had lights, heat, and battery packs, and a battery charger. So I wasn't working out in the cave somewhere. So luckily, so that worked out well. So anyway, like I said, to finish out the story, the Mustang still doesn't have a belt on it because I had to leave yesterday without putting that on. These belts will go back now tomorrow to Culver, and I'll get another belt and we'll check and see how. And then that car, by all intents and purposes, the owner can take it and start to drive it and take it back with him for a while and give us some space to work on some other cars.
Right.
The olds came back. The reason I had to move that car out of the shop is because the 442 came back yesterday.
Who are you, Boyd Coddington? You getting cars back? What's going on?
Well, this is what happens, and the owner understands. Cars are not it's not finite. Once you do work on them, there's sometimes other things that need to be looked at. Something has to be tightened or something, So he had 3 issues with his car, and 2 of them I had to look at. One of them, he felt the transmission was leaking a little fluid from the modulator where that went in. So he's going to bring that back to the tranny place because it's by his house, and I'm sure they'll take care of that. They just rebuilt it. The battery that we put in for him, it got one bad cell. One cell, one bad. Like, you know what? I told him I've had 3 or 4 batteries that did that to me recently. So he, on his own, went and got a nice big heavy duty battery and changed that.
Okay.
But for me, what I had to do was, he felt the steering was a little vague on the car. So I said, I can adjust the steering box a little bit. I can put a little bit of preload on the sector shaft if I have it in the shop. And you're going to love this. I know you're going to jump up and down.
What?
He said he had a little bit of a fuel leak from the carburetor, from the Holly. And I said to him, I know where it's from. He goes, what? I said, yeah, the accelerator pump in the front, right? He goes, yeah, it's right. I said, exactly. I said, I know, they always do it. I said, when you take them apart, that's the first place you'll ever get a leak from. I said, and what I have to do is remove the carburetor, turn it upside down. I literally took the screws out. I put a little drop of Loctite on them and cinched them down and took care of that. So I had to get that space free so he could come in. So, but I and he is he's good about it. He understands that. Yeah, listen, things loosen, things shake, and you have to have like an open mind to.
Right. Screws fall out of doors all the time. The world is an imperfect place.
That's very true. Very true. Good. That should be a T-shirt. You're right. That should be a T-shirt. So with that, we're going to take our break, a bottom of the hour break. I want to talk to you a little bit about specialty tools that really help me out. I love my specialty tools.
And I want to talk about a breakdown, but it's not what you think.
We're going to talk about that. So let me tell you that our weather is forecast is powered by Pantano's Gourmet with locations in Hewlett and Uniondale. And as I look out the WHBC weather window, I see, it's partly sunny, which I was going to say partly cloudy, but I don't know how you delineate.
You're an optimist. You've always been.
Delineate between the two. It's nice. It actually is. It's sunny enough for me, right? High of 37, so that may not be high enough for you.
No. Oh gosh.
It
I'm
was.
freezing down here.
I know up in your area, it was in the 20s this morning. I saw the weather map.
Yeah.
Tonight's going to be clear skies, low of 29. They say tomorrow mostly sunny, high of 44. So that's good. It's nice now. I have to read this. So let me tell
What do
you.
you got? What do you got?
It's a contest.
Oh, they're giving you away again.
Contest. Yeah. You can win a $100 gift card to Uncle Bacla's Italian Seafood and More just for downloading and using the free HPC app. Now, I was at Uncle Bacla's last week with a party of 4. We go there fairly often. The place, I love it. I love it. I'm not telling you got to go there. I'm just saying I love going there. I love the food, and I'd recommend it to anybody.
Is it loud? Is there a bunch of Ginzaloons all yelling at each other?
We got there early, and then within an hour, the place totally filled up. And yeah, the noise level did rise, but we could still converse at our table without yelling. So the place was set up well enough where it wasn't echoing all over the place.
I always say that about me and my wife whenever we go out to dinner. Either we can empty a place or we can fill a place.
Right.
It's always been the case, so I get it.
So listen to WHBC anytime, anywhere, and register to win this $100 gift card inside the WHBC app.
I'm listening to it right now.
Uncle Bacla's Italian Seafood and More is located at 23-70 Jericho Turnpike in Garden City Park. And the WHPC app, of course, is located in your Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. Good luck from the voice of Nassau Community College and the free WHPC app. So with that, do we have an honor group of the hour?
Of course we do. On this fairly chilly Sunday, the Motormouth Radio honor group of the hour this week. With the cold weather and the season's wrapping up, you bring the car into the garage for the winter's duration like Ray just did. And you're thinking about taking on an extensive winter project, thinking about what you want to do with it while the cold weather is upon us. But then you look down and find that you still have that leak. That glossy round spot under the car again. Where's it coming from? Get down on the ground, put your finger in it, check the color. Is it red? Is it green? Is it dark brown? You hope it's blue. That means the washer fluid bottle sprung a leak. That's an easy fix. Where's the stain? Directly under the engine, over to one side, by one of the wheels. So you put the winter modification pack on the shelf for a while because you'll be spending some time chasing that pesky leak during the winter season. So if you were greeted with a notorious wet spot, and even under your car, before putting the car away for the season, then you're part of the Motormouth Radio honor group of the hour.
Yeah, that's common. I get another common thing with older cars. Not so much with newer ones, but with older ones, abso-freaking-lutely.
Oh, let me tell you, I think I've gotten to the point where I've gotten every part of the Chrysler leaking.
Right.
Every part.
Yeah,
engine, transmission, rear end, and radiator. So, and no fuel yet, but there's still time.
All right. So listen, talking about your Chrysler, we call it the Beast over here. That's so we're gonna hear the Beast right now on WHPC. So we'll take our break. We'll be back. We're gonna kick off our promos with a man who's gonna come back on with us soon because he has a lot to say and he's itching to do it. So keep it where you got it. Listen through our break at 90.3 WHPC. Hit it, boys.
My name is Carl Anthony with Automoblog and Autovision News, and you're listening to Ray and Chris on Motormouth Radio, WHPC 90.3 FM.
This show on 90.3 WHPC is brought to you by CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision, with 2 locations in Limerick and Oceanside, who remind you that New York state law says you always have the right to choose which shop will fix your car. CarStar Celebrity Chase Collision offers a full range of services, 24-hour towing between Montauk and Manhattan, shuttle service, and they can help you with a rental car arrangement if needed. All repairs include the CarStar Lifetime Nationwide Warranty, ensuring that the experts at Celebrity Chase Collision are always on your side.
Y sí, hablamos español.
More information is available at 516-593-0920 or online at celebritychasecollision.com.
It's a call-studded program. We do have another caller on the line. Caller, identify yourself.
Anthony, I called those guys with the cars one time.
Oh, nice. The Motor Mouth guys.
Oh, yeah, those good old boys.
There you are. Anthony, where are you calling from?
I'm in Freeport. Yeah, this morning I miss it. My boss was, every time I turn it on, he turns it off. I say, whoa. Yo, you better, may I give him a karate chop?
That's right.
Give him a karate chop.
Give him that F5. Give him that F5.
I love it.
Dude.
It's a pleasure, bro. Take it easy. That
was amazing.
My favorite caller
of all time.
Maybe all time. I have heard him with the Motor Mouth guys. That's why I recognized them a little.
Hey, you, get over here. Every Sunday, 12 to 1, you are going to tune in to hear the Motor Mouths, my friends Ray Guarino and Chris Switzer. 90.3 FM, WHPC. You might learn something.
Yeah, you can learn how to play some good backing track and some nice power chords. That's The Beast by our friend Sea Monster. So,
tell me about that promo.
Oh, that's an old. You know what? I've had that in here for a couple of years.
Really?
When Joe and I were doing the show, we did a remote. We did a couple of remotes over at Tobay Beach, and that guy,
Anthony.
No. Was his name Ray or was it Joe? I think it was Ray too. He. Oh, I know what it was. No, we had the same last name as me, not the same first name. We were. He engineered the event for us, and we got to be kind of friends. And then I found out, like, hey, kind of likes to work in his car, but his dad's into cars. So he goes, I listened to your show, and we kind of had a thing going. He was listening to us, and then he would stop in the studio a few times every now and again. And I grabbed that off of his show. I was listening to him do his regular show during the week. I think it was a Nassau mix or whatever, and I clipped that off of there because it was. And then I got one of our listeners calling his show, which was kind of funny.
That's hysterical.
Yeah, it's always.
It's the first time I've heard it.
I played it in the past. It's been a while, but yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
So you want to talk tools, or do you want to do your bit?
Yeah, real fast. I had a quick. I walked up to the Mazda a couple of weeks back, and I noticed that it has a coating on the headlight lenses. It's not. It's like it was already coated.
Oh yeah.
And the coating is breaking down. The top of the lens must have got compromised because water got behind it.
Right.
And it created like a little white haze, which of course went across the whole top of the lens, and now it just all flakes right off. So that's what's happening. The water is getting under this protective coating under the headlight lens, and I'm trying to dope it out. I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to remove the coating and replace the coating on the lens on the lens plastic itself.
You are right. You do need to replace something. It's the light.
The whole entire lens?
Yeah, it's like it's peeling. The plastic is peeling off, and once you get past that first layer that's been polished, the rest of it is not. You'd have to. I don't even know if you could really optimally resurface it or not. But I've seen lenses get that bad, and that's what they say. Yep, you need headlights.
And it's not smoky or anything. It's not like it's cloudy or foggy or like that. It's like this protective coating is peeling.
Right.
I've never seen, like, you've seen the bare plastic, and it will either check or it'll cloud up or something like that. It's happening on the Explorer too.
That's when you can polish it.
Mm-hmm. But it's actually cracking on the Explorer, believe it or not.
Okay.
It's this where the light beam hits it. It's actually cracking right there. It's like the plastic is completely broke down.
Fords are known for bad headlight plastics. I don't know why, but Fords are particular. And Mazda, which was owned by Ford back then. Yeah, maybe they inherited some of that. So I'm afraid to say I think you need replacement.
Yeah, I may just shop around for it. I don't know. See what happens. I have to see if I can mess with it first.
Right.
Because it's not like it's impeding the light beam at all. It's not.
Right. Well, let's see if we can impede on a caller and say, hi, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, we're talking about fixing headlight assemblies?
Yes, it's Glenn. What's happening, Glenn?
Hey, Glenn.
What's happening, Ray? How are you, Chris?
Doing
what's
well.
Your thoughts on that Cerakote product? I did a click ad when I was Amazoning and put it in the basket. I have yet to use it.
Okay.
Still sitting here. And you were just mentioning that these lenses just don't last.
Right.
And
Right.
I haven't
have
used
a-
the Cerakote. I've seen videos. I've heard great things about it. I have not used it myself, so I can't speak. But from, you could be the test bed and let us know, Glenn.
Yeah.
whenever I have time.
Yeah, there you go. Right. By the time you get to it, the bottle's going to be like only an eighth of the stuff left in it. 'Cause it's all going to be, and the
Yeah.
bottle's going to crack and break.
Turn to
Like,
dust.
like a 10-year-old new product.
Yeah,
It doesn't
yeah.
work. No.
Yeah. No, I haven't used it, so I really don't know. So,
And like nowadays, you look at your older car, you're on the road, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm the one with the dingy yellow headlights.
right. I'll tell you this: when I had my Mazda, I was at the shop one time, and I wanted to polish them. And Mike Jr., he said, "Yeah, bring it in. Let's take a look at it." And he gave it a wet sand, I think with 3,000 grit, and used like three different polishes that he had at the shop. And let me tell you, I have before-after pictures. It was like literally night and day. You literally like a cataract and a brand new lens, and it lasted like a good 6 months, 6 to 8 months, like that. So
Yeah, it's like everything else. It's maintenance and.
well,
Like,
I
I'll
also
do this,
found
I'll
that
do that, or
there's guys that really know how to do it. And I've used like the kits that you get with the buffer and all. And I never really went to the sanding method. I was always a little like pulled back from that, but that seems to
Right.
do it a lot of times. So
you're committed if you do that. And let's say the lens
Right.
really gets damaged, then you're looking at a replacement.
they always say start with the mildest stuff first. And if it works,
Yeah,
good. If it doesn't, then you could go back. But if you start with the abrasive stuff and you mess it up, now you're really screwed. So
Yeah, so here it is. It's sitting here on the shelf. I'm still trying to organize and like make things
yeah,
workable, but that's a whole nother
right.
whatever. That's kind of like where I'm at right now. The garage is a mess, but
Sure.
at least I'm in the garage.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, let us know how that Cerakote works.
Yeah, if I get around to it. But
I
I got other bigger things, and I always say, oh yeah, let's knock that out one weekend, and it never happens.
Right.
But when that does, yeah, I'll call you back and let you know.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah.
And keep sending those car tips that you find on the street. We love seeing those.
That's pretty wild. I drive all over the place, and I'm like, check that out. And then as I'm leaving, and I see the GTO. I'm assuming you said that was a GTO.
Yes.
Under the carport.
Yeah, that's a friend of mine's house. Yeah.
And I'm looking, I go, wow. So anyway, the Camaro was pretty cool looking.
It is.
And it looked like it might have been, partially, not to say restored, but, maintained.
It was in good shape.
I think it was a 307 car?
Yes. Glenn found a car on the street. And
I was going to ask, yeah.
And he sent me a text with a picture. It's in my town. So I was going up to pick up Kevin, who lives a few blocks from there. And I detoured and said, oh, yeah. It had a car cover on it that half blew off. But the car was very clean. Yeah, look, the body was it's probably stolen. Yeah, it was probably stolen from Jersey and dumped in America.
Well, did you see in the back, it had a dealer tag. It said Lubby, Lubby or LBBY.
A Luby, that was out here. That was a dealer from me. Yeah, that was a dealer out in Suffolk County.
Yeah, the dealer tag. I remember him.
I was wondering if you saw that. And I said,
No.
Could that be like from around here? And
yeah,
who knows? Maybe it's an estate car. It was wherever, and they brought it back, or someone bought it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Nice find though. Good find.
They're still out there.
Yeah.
You never know. And make a deal.
You got
it. Anyway, we get back to organizing and fixing, and thinking
all right,
about
Glenn.
not fixing my headlights.
All right, Glenn. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Glenn.
So long.
By the way, Matco Man Brian back at 203-670-4127. He says, after you clean them real good, all you got to do is get some clear coat spray can, spray the clear coat on, and it'll last longer than 6 months.
Nice.
Which is pretty good. Yeah, as long as you're careful with the spray and mask responsibly. Yeah, that's actually a great idea. That's what I was thinking with mine. I think that someone actually clear coated them, used the product on them that has now broken down, like Glenn was saying. I think that was a similar thing with mine as well. So.
Speaking of Matco Man, it's a perfect lead in. He led into himself. Through the years now, back when I was buying tools originally, you bought like a regular size set of wrenches that were like 6 inches. Then you had the long wrenches that were about 8 to 10 inches. Sure. Well, now the ratchet wrench varieties come in, and I want to show you a couple that I
A ratchet wrench.
like. These are ratchet.
Oh yeah, I like those.
Now it's a double.
It's like a box wrench.
These are actually from Mac. The man ain't coming. So this is 11 and 13 millimeter.
Okay.
And this is a 12.
Wait a minute. 11, 13. Oh, 11 and 13
They
millimeter.
skip. And this is 12 and 14.
Got it.
And they ratchet. They're actually offset. They have a nice little offset so you can get into things. And they reverse. They have a switch.
I was going to say, is there a switch on there or do you have to flip it in order to reverse it?
There's a switch right here, a black switch.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So now, things, of course, that wasn't good enough. Now they make stubby ratchet wrenches, right? No.
I got a couple of those. Yeah.
I got to get a set. But now, from Matco Man Brian, I got these last year. I think my daughter got them for me for Christmas. Sometimes the bolt and the attachment is inside where you really can't grab. Mm-hmm. So you have to use something this big.
Oh, man.
So
that's extended there.
Same size.
What is that, like 2 feet long?
Yeah, and this will swivel.
Oh,
so swivel. So you
that's a knuckle buster right there.
Right now, and they reverse.
Okay.
They reverse. But yeah, this is a 12 and 14.
Right.
And 13, 15, which is even longer. I mean, this thing is the size.
Yeah. That's got to be like 2 feet long.
It's the size of my arm. As the wrench gets bigger, as the sizes get bigger, the wrench gets a little longer. So now you need toolbox storage, which I didn't have.
You can't fold the ends in on the.
No, they come in a tray. They come in a tray.
Okay.
But new toolboxes have more storage than the old toolboxes. But the point I want to make is to get into a place now, like in the cars now, everything isn't just out in front of you. You have to be down into a cavity, and that's when a wrench like that really comes in handy because. Yeah. You can get in a couple, a foot and a half down, and then you have a nice fine ratcheting mechanism where you can, loosen a bolt.
No, I noticed that more and more that what would you say, the small socket and a standard socket wrench is going to be about 2 or 3 inches in depth. So you need that sort of work just to get that socket onto that bolt. And if you don't have that, like you say, space is now of a premium, and working on cars involves you taking a lot of stuff out just to get your hands in there to get at the part that's affected. You need something like that that's thin enough that you can hang it on a bolt, but still have that ratchetability instead of just a standard box wrench.
And the nice thing is, like the Macs that I have those for, 15 years. Because a friend of mine, it just so happened his wife was at a shop that had a Mac dealer, and she told him, because he works on cars, hey, they had a special on these ratchets. It was a quarter, 3/8 and half-inch drive ratchet, a set like all the guys do, and they had a special on it that week. And he bought me. He says, hey, you interested? And I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So I bought the set of ratchets, and I used the 3/8 religiously. I never used the quarter or the half, but I used that 3/8 religiously and loved it. I really liked the ratchet until I was taking my car apart to restore it, and I made the infamia. I made the big mistake. I had the ratchet with an extension and socket outside going through the chassis, and my impact gun on the inside, and I felt slip. I was like, whoa, what was that? I blew the ratchet apart is what happened. I shouldn't have been doing that. I should have used like a
breaker bar or something.
Right, exactly. So I tried to get the ratchet warranted.
Right.
Well, now I had to go through our good friend Ray the Fixer, because he had a Mac guy that came to the shop. And first the guy says, oh, well, I'll give you a rebuild kit for the ratchet. So he gives Ray a rebuild kit. He gives it to me. And I tell him, I got back to him and said, no, it's not the right rebuild kit. This isn't set up like what I have. He gets me another one. I'm like, no. I said, I don't even know how to take this ratchet apart. It had like a sealed head. I said, I don't get it. And he goes, you know what? Yeah, give me the ratchet. So I give it to him. He shows it to the Mac guy. In the meantime, I start doing some research, because I had each ratchet had a part number. And then I noticed, which I never saw before, after the part number, it said made in Taiwan. I was like, whoa, I never saw that. So I looked up the part numbers on the web and then on Mac's site, and they didn't show up. I had the part number for the set. That didn't show up. they wiped them off the
Wow.
I guess because they had problems with them, through the years.
Right.
So he said to me, all right, it's a sealed ratchet. You can't get a kit. Bottom line is the Mac guy says he'll buy them back from you from what you paid for them. He'll give you your money back. But, it's tool truck money. So you got to, it's like store credit.
Oh, okay. It wasn't cash. It
I
was.
said, I'm not on a Mac truck.
credit.
I don't know what Mac has that I might
Right.
want. I don't know. And at the time I said, you know what? I've really been toying with some ratcheting wrenches. And he got me those. It was a set that goes, I think, from 8 or 9 millimeters, maybe up to 17. I don't know if it goes to 19. They're double-ended, and they're really nice. I've had them. They are. I do think that they're nice wrenches. I don't put them to heavy use, but I like them. And now, of course, everybody makes ratcheting wrenches. The difference is the Macs there have a 6-point design, which I like. Those Matcos have a spline head on them, which means it's. Oh, you know the difference in a spline?
No, tell me.
I'll show you. Better yet,
show me. Yes. And you can see this too when you watch this on YouTube.
Well, a 6-point.
Yes, standard 6-point.
Literally 6 points.
Right.
A spline has
more.
Kind of like a 12 point.
Yeah, look, that's what I'm thinking. I thought you were going to say 12
something
point.
and talk at the same time.
Yeah, right.
It's got many, many more. I could probably count them, but that helps go over a bolt head. And there are actually spline. There is spline hardware that's made with that head configuration, but that also works very well on a regular,
I was going to say it looks like a bigger Torx. Kind of has that Torx sort of look, with the points around it, around the bolt head itself.
Yeah. Correct.
And to me, well, it's kind of funny because when you have a ratchet that looks like that and it has a swivel head, that's not something that you can break a bolt free with. You can take the bolt off, but I wouldn't try and use something like that to wrench, to really kind of use the leverage to break something free.
You're right in the territory of another big heated argument where I have a big dog in the fight, and that's ratchets that have a swivel head.
Yeah.
So people love swivel head ratchets.
I don't.
Great. Well, they're phenomenal when you need that head, when you can't get straight on a bolt, you need just like a little angle.
Agreed.
Now you can swivel it. But there's 2 types of swivel head. There's a regular swivel-headed ratchet, and then there's a locking swivel-headed ratchet. I'm a fan of the locking swivel-headed ratchet.
I would be too.
Phenomenally great. Now, these wrenches do not lock in the ratcheting position. So that's where you're right. And I was using them the other day, and there was a couple times where you're getting in on a weird angle, and it'll move on you. And you got to reposition it. You got to be a little more vigilant on how you hold it. But I'll say this: if without that length, I wouldn't have been able to do what I was doing. So that's when I'll put up with that. And truthfully, if this had a locking mechanism on it, it might impede on some of the tight quarters that you had to get into.
Yeah, because that was always my lament. If you're going to apply pressure on this thing and it has the ability to swivel back and forth, it can throw you, or it can swivel when you don't want it to, and next thing you know, you're scraping your knuckles on something you don't want to scrape them on. And so I've always avoided my swivel-headed ratchet unless I broke the bolt free and I needed to spin it off, and it was in an uncomfortable place, but it was already unseized. Then I go get that thing and take it off with that.
Here's
I know I'm
another
not
tip.
applying too much pressure.
If your swivel-headed ratchet is very, very loose and it swivels like a noodle,
just like everything I have.
Okay, you can usually change. There's a pin, and sometimes there's little O-rings or wave washers, and you get that as a kit from the manufacturer. Now, if it's, I bought a swivel. I don't know why. I was on a Snap-on truck years ago, and the guy had a used 3/8 inch, 3/8 drive, maybe 12-inch long comfort grip ratchet. That was, I think 90 teeth, and it was swivel head, and he had it on. He had it for a good price because it was a used part. So I said, all right, I'll take this. I don't have any swivel. I didn't have a swivel head ratchet. Let me buy it. And I noticed immediately that it was kind of loose. So I said to him, hey, you got a rebuild kit for for the swivel on one of these? Oh yeah, sure. So he gave me the kit. I went inside, I changed it in like 3 minutes, and now I had a nice tight swivel head. I said,
nice.
You should have done that before you sold it to me.
So they got more for it.
So they are repairable, and you can usually tighten up that swivel if it gets loose through use.
It's like my ratchet universals. They're all limp.
Yes. See, now there's new ones. Now there's pinless, and that's another thing that's on my list of things that's going to be next. The pinless. Matco has a nice set of pinless universal joint sockets that's on the market, which I like a lot. Because Snap-on has them pinned. And I just watched the thing on the Torque Test channel where they tested like 6 different brands, Snap-on and Matco included, and the Snap-on came out on top only because it had the pin design, made it a little stronger. The pinless, that's what this guy theorized, at least, that the pinless came very, very close with some of the brands, and the Matco one did score very well. But the pin just seemed to be a little stronger. It depends what you're doing. If you have an impact on it all the time, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just have an extension and a ratchet, and then you're not really putting any stress on it.
Yeah, that's usually how if I'm dealing with a universal, that's usually what I'm doing. I'm not putting any stress on it. I'm using it to speed the bolt off.
Sure.
And not putting stress on it. Because I can't tell you how many universals I've shattered with an impact gun.
No, they're really not. Well, these are impact rated. These are black impact.
Right.
Let me say it. These aren't chrome. These are black impact rated.
Oh no, I've ruined those too.
Okay. Well,
because they have a very limited movability. They're very limited on their flexibility, I should say, the impact ones. I've still bent the pin.
Well, that's what pinless gives you. It gives you a bigger range of flexibility. So yeah, it all depends. I'm not going to ask you what brand you were using because
you know what it is.
We can laugh about other things. We don't need to.
To
throw you under the bus.
They're subpar. You know.
I know. So you get what you
yeah, exactly. Big tough guy ruin cheap impact universals.
Actually, Carl Anthony sent me a picture of a tool set, and it was one of those tool sets from the 70s that you got from the Finger Hut magazine.
Oh yeah, I think I got a couple. My dad got me.
Yeah, it's like I forget what it was. I forget what the name was. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Kim's gonna come in and do her show. Thunder Road. What do we tell the people waiting for me out in the parking lot, Chris?
Don't follow us home, and make sure your tool is good.
Absolutely. Stay tuned. We're going to get Carl Anthony back in very soon. We're going to pick up where we left off. So for Chris Switzer, Ray Guarino, Motormouth Radio, we're out. We'll be back next week on 90.3 WHPC. See ya.
See ya, bye.